YesAuto had a front seat ticket for the McLaren 765 LT launch at the Geneva Motor Show earlier this year. That is, of course, until the show was canned because of the coronavirus, and, frustratingly, we instead had to watch the car's grand unveiling from the comfort of our own homes. And oh boy, were we in for a treat. The 765 LT is essentially a hardcore, track-honed long-tail version of the 720S, sitting at the top of the company's Super Series product range. But as you're about to find out, McLaren's pursuit of performance has pushed its supercar well and truly into the realm of the hypercar. You'd think that with a name like Longtail, the 765 LT would be considerably longer than the 720S it's based on. After all, a long back end can bring significant gains in downforce, which is why McLaren extended the bodywork of its F1 GTR racer back in the 1990s. However, the 765 LT is only marginally longer than the 720S, and by marginally, I mean the tail section has grown by a measly 9mm. In fact, the car should be called the long face because its front end is 48mm longer than the standard car. This makes the 765 LT's tail by far the shortest of the LT range. Are we nitpicking? Perhaps, but it seems odd to call a car a long tail when it's not really that much longer. Remember the dual exhaust system on the 600 LT that exited directly above the engine and had a habit of spitting blue flames? Well, McLaren has tried to go one better with the 765 LT by doubling the number of outlets to 4. While the exhausts sadly don't exit above the engine, that space has been left alone so you can peer into the illuminated engine bay, they do bring out the car's wild side. Admittedly, the quad exhausts look a little bit aftermarket, but it's a full titanium system, which is 40% lighter than the standard exhaust on the 720S, and should also sound a whole lot better. Not only is the 765 LT some 80 kilos lighter than the 720S, bringing its dry weight down to a slender 1,229 kilos, its 4-litre twin-turbo V8 engine has been given a healthy power boost that launches the car into hypercar territory. You see, the 765 LT name is a reference to the car's power output, which is 765 PS, also known as metric horsepower. That translates to 755 brake horsepower in old money, which is 35 brake horsepower shy of the Senna hypercar. What's more, the 765 LT has a torque figure of 800 Nm, which matches the Senna and allows the car to sprint from 0 to 60 mph in 2.8 seconds. You'll get to 124 mph from a standstill in 7.2 seconds, a top speed of 205 mph. That's hypercar performance in a supercar package. The track-focused upgrades aren't exclusive to the car's exterior looks and underpinnings. Jump in the cabin and you'll find an interior that reflects McLaren's ambitions to save as much weight as possible. Gone are the leather-wrapped seats and dashboard, which have instead been replaced by Alcantara surfaces and carbon fibre highlights throughout the cabin. You can also spec the Senna-style lightweight seats, although we'd expect them to once again be a pricey upgrade that's arguably not really worth the money, and there's a whole load of carbon fibre options to make the cabin look more like that of a racing car and jack up the base price by tens of thousands. Speaking of price, McLaren hasn't announced the 765 LT's official price tag just yet. However, we're expecting a figure that's just shy of the £300,000 mark, which would make the Longtail an absolute bargain. Think about it, you're getting Senna levels of performance in a car that's a third of the price and far better looking. We'll pit the cars against each other when the 765 LT arrives later this year, and hopefully the coronavirus lockdown will have lifted by then. In the meantime though, you can find all the latest car news and reviews by heading over to YesAuto.com.